Hey friends, this is Dolany TV. Glad to have you aboard here today as the Edmonton Oilers. Well, they're in a world of hurt. I'm seeing talk this afternoon of skating 17 up front in front of Ole Rodrigue tonight as the Oilers continue to deal with the injury bug that has hammered them since just prior to, well, pretty much middle of January, I guess, at this point. And this team has not been healthy since then. At first, it was, after the Four Nations break, we'll be back healthy. Then it was after the trade deadline, we'll be healthy. And now it's hopefully by playoffs, we'll be healthy. We have no doubt about that. Well, every time the Oilers have no doubt about a player returning from injury, they're still injured for another 6, 8, 9, 12 months or so, it seems, here in oil country. So looking forward to Kings in 5 and getting this job done here in the summer real nice and early, because boy, oh boy, does that serve me well. And that's what the point of today's video is, friends. It's not I have no faith in the Oilers, but it is to talk about kind of some of the concerns here around the Oilers, in which have been either recent, more midterm, or season long. So let's get to it. If you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Even though it seems like a doom and gloom video, it's really just where I'm at. I mean, it doesn't have to be doom and gloom for you if you have faith in this team or believe that they can turn whatever isn't right around, and away you go. But for me, sitting here, if you've been a viewer of the channel for the past year plus, you'd know that the playoffs went all the way to June 24th last year. You know that would also coincide with me going up to Cold Lake pretty much the next day for a graduation ceremony. Kind of broadcasting duties bring me all over the place back home sometimes. And so anyway, right, jump into that. Then all of a sudden it's July 1st, and you've got the chaos that's that, and Cold Lake Wi-Fi and all that was terrible due to kind of dealing with the mass crowds on the beach in Cold Lake for Canada Day. So it was just kind of a disaster covering July 1st, and kind of a really bad day to be away from the studio on a very important day in Edmonton Oilers history, when they kind of transitioned things a completely different way from what that playoff team had looked like just 7 days before. So all of a sudden you start the off season on a really, I guess for a lot of folks, and I tried to make good of it, I tried to make decent of it, a really poor note, right? You sign Arvidsson, you sign Skinner, you sign Janmark, you sign Henrique, you sign Brown, you sign all these guys that had either really good playoffs or on paper look like, hey, that would be a serviceable addition to the Oilers offense. Then you don't bring back Holloway, you don't bring back Broberg, you don't bring back Fogle, you trade away CC, you make some moves that, whether you agree with them or not, just maybe don't look as good on paper as they did at that point. And I will tell you, there was a lot of people who didn't want Fogle back, McLeod back. Holloway had proven nothing. He had always been injured. Same with Broberg. So, right, the hindsight's 2020, and that's what I really think this season's about. But it's just now all of a sudden, right, you're going into the playoffs. Not a single player on this roster can seem to stay healthy for more than 2 games at a time. And if they do, they're not contributing anyway, so it doesn't matter. And you're going into the playoffs after, this little bit of confidence booster game against LA, or what should have been. Instead, you get mopped 3-0, and, end of the day is, yeah, sure, you're not missing Stuart Skinner because Calvin Pickard's giving you a chance, but you're still giving up 3 goals in a game. So I don't care whether you got Stuart, Cal, and Ned, it's still 3 goals, and that still sucks. So, you've got a real difficult situation here if you're the Oilers. And now, personally, on my side of things, the hockey season went all the way to June 24th, which, for those of you who have been watching the channel a long time, you know that slow pitch softball season is very important to me. Summer's kind of my jam, right? I really don't get out much in the winter, and summer's a much more fun time of the year for me. And honestly, this year, after doing all that last year, I don't know if I have it in me to go all the way to June 20th, 24th, whatever it is, and lose another Stanley Cup final. If that's going to be the case, and that's where I will preface this, I want the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup this year, but if they're not going to do it, I don't want to watch one-leg Leon and, half-speed Connor and beat up Ekholm and Stuart Skinner flopping around in the crease for 3 rounds just to be eliminated by Colorado or Dallas in Game 6. I don't want that. Don't waste my time with that. either let the Kings mop you in 5, 4, 6 games, whatever it takes. So, we at least have some playoff games. Maybe I can go up to Edmonton and check out one of the watch parties again. But honestly, if the Oilers are not going to do the job this year, get it over with. Let the Kings celebrate their first series victory against the Oilers in a million years, and call it good. That's where I'm at, honestly, with it, because it's just not worth the hassle at this point of giving up another summer. And I say that as an Edmonton Oilers fan first, is I do not have it in me to sit down here and do this job every single day this summer, giving up another summer just to watch the Oilers come up empty after, what has been a painful season for me personally to sit here and watch. The Oilers, like I said, have done a lot of things I don't agree with, and in my position, I got to try and rationalize them. I got to try and make sense of them. I got to try and, put that out to you in terms where, everybody understands and everybody's not picking up the pitchforks and torches and trying to chase me out of town. That's kind of the idea, right? Is convey the news, convey the message, and just stay in the middle ground somewhere on it. So unfortunately, it's been a very difficult year with that. Unfortunately, because of that, it's been a very difficult year to sit here and watch the Oilers, period. And obviously the team that we have watched at times this year has just been a product of what the hell happens. So sitting here, going into the playoffs again, if this injury bug is going to continue riding into the playoffs, which likely it will, again, you'd see these guys out here trying to clinch this if it was something more minor. Yes, I understand the rest aspect, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to get better. And if it does, great. Like I said, I still want the Edmonton Oilers to win the Cup. I still believe they can. It's just a matter of don't waste my time if you're not going to. And that's, I think, a fair sentiment to have at this point of the season. Is I don't think any of us are looking to go to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals just to lose in a second year in a row 2-1 in the final game because it deflected off a stick and you thought Stuart Skinner should have saved it anyway. I don't want that. I don't need that. I'd much rather enjoy my summer at this point, and that's kind of where we find ourselves today. So clinch miss, obviously, could happen tonight. Sharks beat the Flames in regulation, and the Oilers win in any fashion. The Oilers clinch their Stanley Cup playoff spot, likely to have home ice be handed to the LA Kings because of the injury bug and whatever other excuse you want to make. And it just is where we're at this season round, and we'll see what happens. But again, I would not mind if the Oilers don't have what it takes to go all the way this year. Just get it over with early, and let's enjoy one hell of a summer here. It's shaped up to be a wet spring so far, so maybe the wildfires not as crazy to begin the summer as they have been the past few years. And us Oilers fans can sit here and enjoy our beautiful province of Alberta and go out and absolutely have a banger of a summer before we go actually maybe chase the Cup next year. So friends, thanks for being aboard. I am up on out of here.